Recording. Un gusto enorme. ¿Cómo están, everyone? Good evening, students, to stay here in this beautiful class. Okay, today we have to continue practice, but today we have to study the use of there is and the use of there are. Okay, it's very important to practice in what situation we use there is, in what situation we use there are. When we talk about countable and when we talk about an uncountable. And then we have to use 10 more common phrases first. And finally, if we have more time, and if we have more time, we have to practice the pronunciation, right? Thank you for your time. Thank you, Mario, Dailen, Jamil, to stay here with us. Okay, we have to continue with this. Let me show you the word. Okay, here, let me start. This is very important to practice. Today we have to use, let me show you here. In this here, in book, in here in Discord, in this beautiful website, aquí en esta hermosa plataforma virtual que ustedes tienen en el módulo, aquí, for example, here, what is it here? Vamos a trabajar un punto muy importante que está en esta plataforma. En el módulo, vamos a empezar aquí en el módulo 2. And when you talk about there is and there are, it's so important. In what situation will you there is, and what situation will you there are? There is and there are very common in the real English, en el inglés real, inglés hablado.
Pineapples. Right?
So we have to use the different, right? In what situation we have to use there is, in what situation we use there are. So let me tell you what is the difference.
En esta clase vamos a ver el uso de there is y el there are. ¿Qué es
Okay.
el there is?
What is that there is and what is there are? For example, there is, please pay attention. We use there is when you talk about singular and there are when you talk about plural. This is very important. Listen here.
Tienen un solo significado. En español significa hay. There are o there is es hay.
Okay, so it's very important. There is and there are in Spanish is I. Okay, both are the same. Both are the same. But what is the difference exactly here? So
Lo importante en esto es que de una otra manera utilizamos el there are por plurals.
Yes.
Plurales cuando hablamos de varios. Y el there is cuando hablamos singular, cuando hablamos de uno solo. Por ejemplo.
So please, it's very important to remember. We have to use there is for a singular when you talk about one, right? And we use there are when you talk about two or more. When you talk about plural, it's very important. For example,
miren los ejemplos. ¿Cómo diría yo? Hay 5 manzanas. Bien fácil. There are, escribo 5 apples.
Okay, for example, here, you have to use there are for plural. You have to say here, there are 5 apples, right? You have to say here 5 apples. 5 is number 5 is plural. You have to use there are. Another example here.
There are 5 apples. Hay 5 manzanas. Yo pongo con rojo el there are. ¿Por qué puse el there are y no agregué el there is? Porque la regla dice que utilizamos there are cuando hablo de dos o varios.
For example, you can say another example. What I said here, volunteers in Spanish. You say here, there are 10 bananas on the table.
On the table.
There are 10 bananas.
There are 10 bananas.
What I said here in Spanish. Any volunteers?
Hay 10 bananas en la mesa.
Okay.
Y significa hay. Aquí que there are, hay 5 apples, manzanas. Pero si yo quisiera hablar que hay una manzana, no.
But if I want to say one in singular, what is the correct alternative? When you talk about one, you say there is or there are. If I want to say hay una banana o hay un plátano sobre la mesa, how do you say in English?
There is apple. Sorry, there is a banana in the table.
On is on the table, right?
¿Qué pondría? Exacto, there is. There is, pongo así, one apple. Y ya no lo pluralizo. Ojo, ya no lo pluralizo. La cosa cambia. Que sería, there is one apple. Miren lo que hemos aprendido.
This is very important to remember, right? There are is for plural, there is for singular. But what is the negative, teacher? For example, the negative of there are, in this case, is there are not. You can say here, there are not is important. Or in the contraction in English is there aren't. You can say there aren't fine apples, okay? Teacher, what is more common? Okay, for me, my advice is you have to use there aren't, right? There aren't is more common here. You say here, there are fine. There are not
There.
fine. It is a negative. Please pay attention. This is very important to you. The negative if there are not or there aren't, but in plural, right? And then we have to continue. Teacher, what is the interrogative for? The interrogative for here is you have to put the verb to be are at the beginning of the sentence, and then you have to say you have to change the position of the word. You change the position of the word. In this case, you have to say are there 5 apples or any apples? It's very important to you.
Any o are there 5 apples? Hay 5 manzanas. Miren cómo pregunté. Yo respondería si fuera positivo, yes, there are. Y si fuera negativo, respondería no, there aren't.
Okay, it is very important to remember, students, what is the difference when you say here in plural you have to say there are. The negative of plural, there are not or there are in the contraction, right? In interrogative form, you have to say, are there any? Are there any? The answer in positive, yes, there are, or no, there aren't. Yes, there are, or no, there aren't, right? For example, volunteers, Jamil, Mario, or Dylan. How do you say that in English? You say here, okay, hay 3 libros en la oficina. How do you say that in English? Hay 3 libros en la oficina.
There are 3 books in the on the office.
Very good. Repeat again, please. Repeat again.
There are 3 books in the office.
There are 3 books. One more time, please.
There are 3 books in the office.
Yes, there are 3 books in the office. Good answer. Okay. What is the negative? You say in affirmative, you say there are 3 books in the office. The negative, Jamil, Mario, or
No.
Dylan?
No, they are.
No, no, no. You,
There are no.
La pregunta, que no hay. They are
no,
not. They are not.
No. The negative. There are the negative form.
There are not 3 books in the office.
Yes. But Dylan, don't ask me, no me preguntes. Tú me estás como que lo dices dudando. Dilo con claridad. There are not 3 books in the office. No, there aren't 3 books in the office. Okay, repeat one more time. You have to say. You say
There
aren't.
not.
No, there aren't 3 books. There aren't 3 books in the office. Come on, repeat it.
There are 3 books in the office. Sorry.
3. What? It's pan English.
Estoy mezclando.
Yes.
There are not 3 books in the office.
Okay, listen to me. Jamil, Mari, Daylin, this is very important to me to practice, right?
Yes.
You have to say like this, one more time. There aren't 3 books in the office. It's slow, right? There aren't 3 books in the office. There aren't 3 books in the office. Teacher, there aren't 3 books in the office. Oh, sorry. Yeah. A little more fast. There aren't 3 books in the office. Hey, teacher, there aren't 3 books in the office. There aren't 3 books in the office. Okay, Yamil, can you say that in the negative? Your microphone.
There aren't 3 books in the office.
Yeah, there aren't 3 books in the office. Yamil, what is interrogative for? No piensen en inglés. Háganlo, díganlo. Dailén. No piensen. Vamos. Dilo, aunque sea mal. No.
There are.
No, otra vez. Cámbialo rápido. Miren la imagen. ¿Cómo sería en interrogative for?
Are there?
Yes. Come on.
Three
Go
books
ahead.
in the office?
Very good.
three books in the office?
One more time, repeat it.
Are there three books in the office?
Yes, very good. Are there 3 books in the office? Don't forget, when the question is open, right, you have to, the intonation is a little slow in the last part. Cuando la pregunta es abierta, la entonación baja al final. Pero cuando la pregunta es cerrada, is a closed question, the intonation is very strong in the last part. La entonación es fuerte en la última parte. Entonces, si la pregunta es, ¿hay 3 libros en la oficina? Sabes que la respuesta va a ser yes or no. Si es ese tipo de respuestas, le metes fuerte al final. Entonces, ¿cómo así? The intonation is like this. Hey, are there 3 books in the office? Are there 3 books in the office? Mario, it's your turn. Tell me the question. Are there 3 books in the office? Mario, your microphone, please. Tell me this. Mario?
Estoy perdido, espera.
Are there 3 books in the office? Are there 3 books in the
Are
office?
there three book the office?
Sí. Mis queridos alumnos, yo estoy haciendo algo muy práctico de la neuroplasticidad. ¿Qué estoy haciendo? No he escrito la palabra books, porque si le he escrito estoy que te hago un daño, porque estás leyendo en inglés y yo no quiero eso. Te pongo un ejemplo parecido, pero en tu mente tienes otro ejemplo parecido. Estoy haciendo que tu cerebro lo procese. Ah, no dice aquí books, pero dice apples. Entonces, ese intercambio de información en tiempo real ayuda a que tu cerebro lo procese más. ¿Y cómo? Equivocándote. O sea, si tú te equivocas, es parte del proceso. O sea, no pienses que, ay, lo dije mal, no sirvo. No, más bien, eso es señal. ¿Sabes cuándo preocúpate? ¿Sabes cuándo, Yamil, Mario, Dailen, deberías de preocuparte? Cuando no quieres hablar. Cuando digas, no sé ni por dónde empezar, teacher. No sé, ¿cómo? ¿Qué dijo? ¿Cómo? A ver, espérate. No entiendo. Otra vez. Pero estás que lo dices. Están que lo dicen. Y lo estás viendo. One more time. La idea es repetirlo. Estas clases son muy productivas, se está grabando. La idea es que tú la veas, que yo te dé el 10% y tú le metas de aquí, todo hoy, mañana le metas full. Vamos a ver, y recién estamos empezando la clase, chicos. In this part, for example, you have to say, we have to study countable and uncountable. Ejemplos contables e incontables. Esto se estudia mucho en el idioma inglés en nivel intermedio, en nivel avanzado, en nivel básico, chicos. Pero yo quiero fluidez, quiero que ustedes abran inglés lo más pronto. Ok, there are, right, is what, in what situation we use there are for plural, right? Plural is when you talk about two or more, right? This is very important. Ok, lo voy a volver a repetir para que no se confundan, right? Yo digo, there are, I. There is, I. Teacher, what is the difference? The difference is there are for plural, there is for singular, right? For example, you say here, there is a dog in the garden. ¿Qué dije? Escríbelo, dilo. There is a dog in the garden in your house. You say there is a dog in the garden. What I said here, volunteers. Nobody help me with that.
¿Hay un perro en el jardín?
Yes, very good. There is a dog in the garden. We talk about one dog, one singular, we have to use there is. But in plural, you say, in plural, what is the sentence in plural?
There are oh, there are
What is it?
two dogs in the garden.
Repeat again, one more time, Dylan. Repeat again, please.
There are two dogs in the garden.
Sí, exactly. ¿Por qué digo not? Porque se dice not, no se dice no. Por favor, por aquí me están preguntando. Y entiendan, cuando es NO, solito sí se dice la O como en español no. Pero cuando está la T, se dice not, tirando como una A. Right? Porque el inglés se escribe de una manera, pero se pronuncia de otra manera. Son dos cosas distintas, chicos, right? Entonces, you have to say here. Ahora, cuando es pregunta, yo voy a negarlo, voy a negarlo en plural, yo diría, hey, there aren't any dogs in the garden. There aren't any dogs in the garden. No hay algunos perros en el jardín. Lo pregunto, Are there any dogs in your garden? What? I said, dije, are there any dogs in your garden? Are there any dogs in your garden? Okay. You say, yeah, there are, or no, there aren't. Yeah, there are, or no, there aren't. It's important to remember here.
Continuos. Sin embargo, cuando nosotros vamos a utilizar la misma temática con singular, cuando hablamos de uno, yo tendría que decir aquí, por ejemplo, there is one apple, hay una manzana. Si yo quisiera negarlo, voy a poner there isn't. There isn't one apple. Miren cómo quedó. Y si yo quisiera preguntarlo, yo diría, is there one apple?
It's very important to remember, my darling students. In singular, you have to use there is. In this case, for example, there is one apple. The negative for in singular, you have to say there isn't one apple, right? And what is the interrogative for? Is there one apple?
No me debo nunca olvidarme del question mark. Esto es esencial, importantísimo.
The question mark is so important, right? Vamos a seguir viendo. It is very important to me. It's very important to remember, right? That's all. Eso es todo. Ahora vamos a ir a ejercicios. Pero quiero que ustedes, antes de los ejercicios, necesito que hablen en inglés en este momento. Vamos a hacerlo de la siguiente manera. Voy a ponerle aquí.
Con utilizar el término I, mucho cuidado. I está en there is y en there are. There are cuando hablo de varios. There is cuando estoy hablando de uno solo. Voy a repetir. There are 5 apples. Hay 5 manzanas. Si yo quisiera negarlo, there are not 5 apples. Are there any 5 apples? Para preguntar, el verbo to be iría adelante. Are there any 5 apples? Yes, there are. No, there aren't. Esto es muy importante a la hora de utilizar ejercicios en los que tengo que hablar de cantidades. Y si voy a hablar de uno, en singular diría, there is one apple. Y así puedo poner muchos ejercicios que se me pueden venir a mi cabeza. Entonces,
listo, entonces yo ya tengo la idea, yo ya vi esta hermosa clase, entonces yo ya sé, I know that, in what situation there is, in what situation there are. Vamos a hacer un pequeño repaso en qué momento. There is, there are. For example, we have to make the interrogative for, in negative for, and in positive for, right? So pay attention, pay attention. ¿Cuándo utilizamos ahora también el there is, el there are? Miren acá, mis queridos alumnos. You have to pay attention here. Utilizamos nosotros el there is, el there are también de la siguiente manera. Quiero que presten mucha atención, por favor, ¿sí? Miren, quiero que ustedes estén aquí conectados. Por ejemplo, a ver, quiero ver. Yo digo, por ejemplo, there is, y we have to use there is for an uncountable too. Usamos el there is también para hablar de incontables, por ejemplo. ¿Y en incontables se pone a teacher? No. El incontable no se puede medir por uno, no. Se utiliza el some. Please remember, or remember, we have to use some, right? We have to use some when you talk about what? We have to use some when we talk about what? When we talk about an uncountable. For example, you say here, volunteer. What I said here, you say here, there is some water, for example. Okay, there is some soda in the glass. In the glass. Glass is vaso. ¿Qué dije aquí? There is some soda in the glass.
Hay algo de agua, hay algo de soda en el vaso.
But what is the meaning of soda? It's no agua.
Soda.
No, what is soda?
There is algo de soda. Bueno, hay algo de soda en el vaso.
¿Pero qué es soda?
Soda, refresco.
No, refresco gaseosa.
Bueno, es gas, bueno, yo lo conozco acá como gaseosa. Como
no
refresco, la gaseosa.
Dailen,
Pero es bebida.
Where are you from? Dailen?
I am from Mexico.
Como unas aguas, como del Chavo del Ocho. Las aguas. Aguas frescas. Sería en este caso, there is, in the negative, you have to say there isn't any. Please, it's very important to remember. It's important to remember any is for negative. Teacher, son is the same, Yes, es lo mismo, son y any. The difference is some is for positive and any is for negative, right? And for interrogative for two. In this case, you say, there isn't any soda, right? In the glass. In the glass. Okay. What is interrogative for? Either any soda. Either any soda in the glass. It's important to remember like this. Let me change the color, right? Okay, any. So in conclusion, in the bottom line, we use any for interrogative for, we use any for what? We use any for interrogative for, and we use any for negative for. This is very important. Don't care, Mario. No te preocupes, Mario.
Disculpe. One question.
Yes.
El any y se lo puedo utilizar para una oración o ya sea algo negativo y una pregunta.
Repeat again the question, please. Repeat it one more time.
Any. Tengo que ocuparlo para. ¿Puedo ocuparlo para una pregunta negativa y las preguntas?
Yes, any, we use any for negative and for question, no more. In affirmative sentence, you use some.
Son.
But any is for negative and question. Some positive, always. You got it? Right? This is so important
right.
to you, right? Okay, so either any so in the class, in the positive sentence, you have to say here, yes, you have to say yes, there is, or in the negative form, you have to say here, no, there isn't. No, there isn't. That's all for you. That's all for you. Ok, Yamil y Dailen, ¿quién me inventa una oración? Yo les espero. Un minuto, escríbamela en el chat. Sí, solamente sí, en afirmativo.
¿Es una pregunta? ¿O una
No,
oración?
en afirmativo, afirmativo. Luego le hacemos en pregunta. Escríbenla, por favor.
¿Puedo hablarlo?
Yo quiero que tú le escribas porque luego yo quiero ver lo que tú has dicho y luego yo voy a analizar el chat. Vamos a ver cómo sería entonces. Vamos a chequearlos ahorita. O si ya lo tienen ahí, ya pueden decirlo por micrófono entonces. La idea era que puedan escribirlo también, ¿no? Pero no hay ningún problema. Dale, ¿quién quiere decirlo? Si quiere decirlo, no hay ningún problema, Yamil o Dailén. Nobody help me with that here. Vamos, necesito que usted me diga una pregunta. Vamos. En afirmativo. Perdón,
There is
sí,
there is
pues,
some rice in the dish.
repeat one more time.
There is some rice in the dish.
There is some what? Repeat one more time, Aileen.
Rice, arroz. Rice in the dish.
In the dish, right?
In the dish.
Mira, ella ha dicho algo interesante y quiero que ustedes lo vean aquí. Ha dicho, there is sunrise in the dish. No sé si me estaré equivocando, ¿no? Pero entonces quiero decir eso. Hay algo de arroz en el plato. Miren, aprendan este error. Mira, lo que pasa es eso. Rice está perfecto porque ese arroz es incontable. Rice is uncountable. Very good, my friend. The reason rice is perfect because it's positive and uncountable. We have to use there is okay. But what is the difference?
O porque son muchos, entonces será there are.
No, no, no. Es ok. Está muy bien. Está bien el tema. Lo que pasa, ¿sabes qué es lo que pasa acá? Es que, a ver, there is es para incontar, está perfecto, sino que no se dice on, se dice, bueno, on the rice. O bueno, pero es, dish es plato sucio. In the plate sería, plate. Cuando
The
hablamos
plate.
sí, por de ahí viene la palabra que en Estados Unidos se utiliza mucho y yo trabajé esto.
Dishwasher, cierto.
Dishwasher. Claro, de viene dishwasher, lavar platos sucios, pues, ¿no?
Ajá.
Un hermoso trabajo cuando trabajé en un crucero en los Estados Unidos en el año 2009. Con todo honor lo digo, aprendí mucho inglés ahí. Bien, y es un punto muy importante que tú tienes que entenderle. ¿Cómo lo negarías? ¿Cómo lo negarías?
Mm,
There
no,
is,
no there are.
¿Cómo?
No there aren't.
No, ¿por qué there aren't si estás
there,
trabajando con there is?
there isn't
There is
any rice in the plate.
Repeat again, repeat again.
There isn't any plate. There isn't any rice in the plate.
Yes, that's much better. There isn't any rice in the plate. That is the correct answer. Yes, en este caso, you have to say there isn't. Here, you say here, there isn't, right? Good.
There
You
isn't
have to say
any
here, there isn't any rice,
in the plate.
in the plate, right? In the plate. Very good, my friend. There isn't any rice in the plate. Good. And what is the interrogative for? Volunteers.
Interrogative.
Yes, what is
Is
the
there some
Is there
rice
some rice in the
in
plate?
the plate?
Repeat one more time. Repeat again.
Is
Is
there some rice in the
Is
plate?
there some rice in the plate?
Yes, you have to say here either, but no, so no, because it's a question. You have to use any, please, right? Remember, any is for question. Yes or no, Yamil?
Yes.
Yes, you
Yeah,
have to say any. Either
Is
I
there
any
forgot.
rice in plate. That's all here. Either any rice in a plate. Very good, my friend. That's muy bien. You understand that. Lo entendieron. Lo hemos hecho con there is y por acá con there are. No hay ningún problema. Entonces, los quedamos con esa idea. You have to remember, please. You have to remember every time. Vamos a ver. ¿No hay preguntas? ¿No question?
No, de mi parte no.
No, solo a veces me confundo, pero no. Me doy cuenta que tiene razón porque al equivocarme igual aprendo.
Exactly. Yes.
Sí.
Vas a aprender equivocándote. Mira, a ver, mis clases no son que te den una nota como en el colegio. Quítense ese miedo. Uy, voy a jalar el curso. No. Si estás así, te bloqueas. Esa es la neuroplasticidad. Aquí aprendemos como jugando y practicando como un bebé. Al bebé no aprendió español porque le iban a jalar. El bebé, si que equivocaba, seguía. Los meten miedo en las escuelas y el meter los miedos nos bloquea. Yo no quiero bloquearte, por eso si tú te equivocas, perfecto, ¿no? Aquí nunca, en la vida no se pierde, más bien se gana experiencia. Ganando o perdiendo, ganamos experiencia, ¿no? Entonces, eso es muy importante. This is very important to remember. So we have to use the next example. Por favor, recuérdenlo. There is singular or an uncountable. En este caso es un uncountable, incontable, y los incontables van con some. Son cuando es en positive and uncountable. Any es cuando ¿qué? Cuando es negative and uncountable or countable en plural. Or countable en plural. ¿Cómo así, teacher? Por ejemplo, yo te digo esto, mira, ve. ¿Qué dije aquí? There are some, for example, lo dije ahora con los plátanos, caramba. ¿Qué dije aquí? Ve? There are some lions. Hey, there are some lions in the zoo. What is it here?
¿Hay algunos leones en el zoológico?
At the zoo. Yes. Hey, there are some lions at the zoo. What is the negative? What is the negative sentence? Come on. Volunteers.
There are not.
No, there aren't. There aren't
Yes. You
any.
have to say, yeah, very good, any for negative, right? You have to say there
There
aren't.
aren't any lions at the zoo.
Yeah, there
Zoo.
are any
Zoo.
lions at the zoo.
There
At the
are
zoo.
not.
Very
The
good, my
zoo.
friend. Excellent. And then we have to tell me what is the interrogative for here. What is the interrogative for?
Are
You have to say,
there
are there
Are there some lions at the zoo?
any, because it's question.
any
Yeah.
lions at the zoo?
Are there any lions at the zoo?
At the-
Very good, my friend, that's all. Muy bien, este es un punto muy importante. Estrellita para ustedes porque han llegado a pasar a otro nivel en el idioma inglés. Muy bien. Bien, voy a compartir la plataforma. Un momentito para poner aquí la plataforma. Vamos a ver cómo quedaría este ejercicio muy peculiar. Por ejemplo, tenemos aquí un punto muy importante. Cualquiera de lo que está aquí presente puede decirme la alternativa. For example, you say here, let me think here, a cat on the mat, en la alfombra, on encima. You have to say there is or there are cats on the mat.
There is.
There is.
There is, right? Very good. 3 books on shelf. En el
There
There
estante.
are. Sure.
Sí, eso es, mis alumnos. No piensen en inglés. Díganlo en automático. Vamos. A dog.
There is a dog barking.
There is or there are.
There is a dog.
There's.
Y tú no me dijiste, no te compliques la vida diciendo, teacher, ¿y qué es barking? ¿Y qué es
Ladrar.
No, pero si no lo supieras, dirías, nomás, a mí el teacher me preguntaba, la clave es a dog, nada más. Listo. Poco a poco. A park near my house. Cerca. Come on. A
There
park
is.
near my house. Park near my house. You have to say here.
There is a park near my house. There is.
There is, right? You say footprints in the sand.
There are.
What do you have to say here? There is.
There are footprints in the sand.
There are. You have to say here, there are. A pen on the desk. What do you have to say here? A pen on the desk.
There are.
There are here. There are. But this is in singular, man.
There is a pen on the desk.
Don't forget, Jamil, because it's a singular, we have to use there is, right? A bench in the park. A bench in the park. What do you say here?
There is.
You have to say there is.
There is.
And when you say here, a tree in the garden. A tree
There are.
in the
There are.
garden. And, oh, but you say a tree.
Oh,
Talk
un
about
árbol.
what?
There is a tree. Sir, there is a tree.
6 chairs in the room.
There are.
There are them. And you have to say here, some apples in a bowl. Some apples in the bowl.
There are.
Razón. Muy bien. Entonces, esto es muy importante, chicos. Vamos a usar esta hermosa plataforma porque todo lo saco de aquí, chicos. Vamos a ver aquí. ¿Y cómo sería entonces, teacher, este sistema? Es muy práctico. Mira, vamos a practicar acá. Ya están agarrando el sistema. Me parece muy bien. Los felicito a cada uno de ustedes por su trabajo y empeño. Por ejemplo, pay attention here. Dice así.
El verbo impersonal I se traduce al inglés en 2 formas.
¿Cuál es donde ven?
There is, con un sustantivo en singular, y there are con un sustantivo en plural.
It's important to remember, right? There is and there are both are the same. Ambos son lo mismo. The different, there is for singular, pero aquí falta algo. ¿Qué falta? Que usamos there is for singular and uncountable. Singular, for example, there is a book. There is a book, right? It's a singular. Muy bien. ¿Y cómo es singular? ¿Cómo sería ahora en plural? Lo cambié de there are books, right? O pongo there are some books, o pongo 5, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, la cantidad que quieres. ¿Cómo sería ahora, y presten mucha atención en este contraste de oraciones? There is, ahí es lo mismo, pero there is y there are, ¿qué significa? Ahí está, there are, ahí están, en plural. Ahora, expresa existencia, que hay, ¿verdad? Ahora, ¿cómo sería en pregunta? Either, for example, you say here, either a bed, no son bien chicos que en inglés el signo de pregunta va al final, que se dice question mark. Either bed, you have to say here, en pregunta hay una cama, ¿no? Conformando preguntas en plural, sería are there. Está clarísimo. Como teacher, are there. Por ejemplo, aquí dice, there is some water. ¿Por qué pongo there is? Porque water is an uncountable. An uncountable, we use an uncountable con there is. En el siguiente punto, por ejemplo, si yo digo there is some water, aquí está clarísimo. Water is an uncountable. In affirmative, you use there is some. Teacher, ¿y cuándo utilizamos el any? I told you, ya te lo he dicho. Any is for question and for negative. Example, is there any water? ¿Hay algo de agua? Either. El either porque singular es incontable. Otro, are there any books? Teacher, ¿y por qué va aquí are there y no va either? Porque está hablando de...
Varios.
Exacto, está hablando de varios. It's important. Acá there is porque es incontable, uncountable. There is some water. Are there any books? It's important to understand the difference. Por ejemplo, incontables, teacher. Aquí te muestro un claro ejemplo. Milk, uncountable. Bread, egg, water, some, any. Please, you have to practice this. You have to practice this. For example, let me check it out the question here. Mira, esta pregunta aquí. Is there any water? Quiero que lo preguntes, porque sabes que es una pregunta abierta. Se dice que en inglés, cuando la pregunta es abierta, fuerza de vulva al final. Quiero escucharlo. ¿Sabes? Diga, is there any water? Is there any water?
Is there any water?
Come on, Jamil. How do you say that in English?
Is there any water?
Is there any water? It's important to remember that correct pronunciation. Vamos, díganlo. There is some water. In affirmative.
There is some
Here.
water. There is some water. There
No,
is some
estás que
water.
no como pregunta. No más. There is some water. En afirmativo se
There
dice
is some
normal.
water.
Muy bien. Y así sucesivamente. ¿Qué dije ahí? There is some bread. Dígame en inglés. There is some bread.
There is some bread.
There is
There is
some
some
bread.
bread.
There is some bread. Ahí lo reparo. Hey, there is some bread. Hey, there is some bread in the kitchen. Ok. Vamos. Sonó como pregunta. Díganlo. Is there any milk? Is there any
Is there
milk?
Is there
any
any
milk?
milk?
Is
You
there
have
any
to tell
milk?
me. Yes. Yes, thank you. You have to tell me. Is there any milk? Hey, ma'am, is there any milk? You have to tell me. You have to tell me. Is there any milk? Yes. Next. Vamos, sonó en afirmativo. ¿Cómo sería? Los escucho.
There is some milk.
Sonó a pregunta, Tailé. Y no es pregunta. ¿Cómo lo diría Yamil?
There is some milk.
There is some milk in the fridge.
Nada más. There is some milk. Hey, there is some milk. It's affirmative. In affirmative is normal.
There's some
It's
milk.
normal. There is some milk. Aquí es pregunta. ¿Cómo sonaría?
Are there any eggs?
Claro. Are there any eggs? Hey, are there any eggs? Are there any eggs? It's important to remember here. Vamos, chicos, a ver cómo.
There
There
are
are
some
some.
eggs.
Yes, there are. No, pero que no suene, tienes que decir, there are some eggs. Hey, there are some eggs. There are some eggs. There are some eggs. Come on. Muy,
There
muy
are some
bien.
eggs.
Exacto. Eso es muy importante. A ver, vamos. 1, 2, 3. Díganlo rapidísimo. Háblenlo. Quiero que lo hagan muy, muy bien. Vamos.
Is there any corn milk?
¿Cómo digo en inglés? Vamos, ¿cómo lo digo en inglés? ¿Lo dijiste? No piensen en español. Y es
Is there,
pregunta.
is there any cold milk?
Yes. Is there any cold milk? ¿Cómo?
Is there any cure? Is there any cure? Sorry,
Cold.
Is there any
traba.
cold?
Is there any cold milk? Hey, is there any cold milk?
Is
Yes,
there
uno.
cold
Is
milk?
there any cold milk?
Muy
Is
bien.
there,
Es la
is there any cold
neuroplasticidad.
milk?
3. Haces 2, 1. Ahí está. Ve. Sería diga en afirmativo.
There is some cold milk. There is some cold milk.
Pero que no se le pregunta. Nomás. There is some cold milk. Digan, there is some cold milk. There is some,
There is some cold milk.
yeah, you
There
have
is
to
some
say,
cold milk.
there is some cold milk. That's very important here. There is some cold. A ver, you have to say here. Next, please. Ya saben cómo se. A ver, ¿cómo sonaría la siguiente? Ya lo leyeron, ya. ¿Cómo digo ahí, pan? 1, 2, 3. Díganlo en inglés. Afirmativo.
There is
There is bread.
There is
Hoy
any bread?
falta some o any. Sería así, ve. There is some
No.
bread. There is some
Oh.
bread. Hay, ¿cómo
There
diría?
is
Hay
some
huevos.
bread.
1, 2, 3 en inglés. Sería hay huevos. Sería. Vamos.
There are
There,
eggs.
Pero
There
remember,
are
it's interrogative
there are
form,
some
right?
eggs.
there is some eggs.
There is what?
There is some eggs.
There, pero es interrogative form. It's a question.
Oh,
¿Cómo there is? Y está hablando, ¿cómo sería?
Are there's any eggs?
Are there,
mix.
muy bien. Are there any eggs? Are there any eggs? Are there any eggs? Teacher, ¿por qué va any? Because any is for interrogative form. Are there any for plural? Because eggs is plural, right? It's very, very important. Vamos a ver uno más. Bueno, ahora vamos a más de esta hermosa plataforma. Bien, siguiente. ¿Cómo sería? You have to tell me the correct answer, right? Volunteers. Let me check it out here.
There is.
Vamos, chicos, you have to say here, piece of
There
paper.
is.
There is or there are? Come on,
There is one.
A ver, más.
There is.
There is one piece of paper.
You have to say, there is one piece of paper. Yeah, because it's one. One is for single, right? Next, 8 pens. Come on, 8 pens.
There are 8 pens.
There are? Okay.
There are.
You have to say here the bus. You have to tell me, come on. You have to tell me the bus. What is the correct alternative when you say the bus? A ver.
There is
There is the bus.
there's the bus.
Sería en este caso,
There is.
there is, porque está hablando de un bus, pues, ¿verdad? No está hablando de varios. A ball. Ujú. Aquí lo va a hacer caer a Val.
There is.
Dice, ball es tazón. Un tazón de naranjas.
There is
¿Por
a
qué
bowl
there is?
of orange.
¿Por qué there is se dice naranjas en plural? ¿Por qué?
Oh, sí.
Porque
Porque está
por las
hablando
dos.
de un bowl, no de las naranjas.
Muy bien. Qué hermosa respuesta. Porque dice a bowl of oranges. Sería, there is a bowl of oranges. Vamos. Come on. Some oranges in the bowl. You have to tell me here, some oranges in the bowl. Come on, volunteer.
There are. There are.
Sería en este caso, There are, because you say here some oranges, right? 2 cups of coffee, right? 2
There
cups
are.
of
There are two cups.
a bag of potatoes. A bag of potatoes.
There
There
is.
is.
Yes, of course, because you're focusing
Hay una
aquí.
bolsa de papas
No
fritas.
importa lo que diga después, a ti lo que importa es lo que está cerca de Isidra. Y el que está
Sí.
cerca es a bag, una. Some butter in the fridge. Come on, you got to tell me the correct answer here. What is the answer? Tell me, please. Hmm?
Somewhere.
Come on.
Mm,
There are.
there is.
En este caso sería there is porque es incontable. Ya
Sí.
les enseñé que incontables van con there is. Come on. I hear, a ver, piensen bien.
There
There
is.
is.
There is.
There is a hair in my sopa. Oh, hay un cabello, un pelo en mi sopa. Oh my goodness. Next. A
There
lot of
is.
snow in the
There
ground.
is.
Mucha nieve en el suelo. Very good, my friend. Congratulations, you are so intelligent. Soy muy alegre por esa habilidad mental que tienen hacia conmigo. Ahora nos vamos a la última parte. You have to pay attention here. Focus on this. Participated here. 3, 2, and 1. Tell me this.
There are.
There are orange in the fridge.
You have to say here, there. Mira, se pone is
Ah,
y acá se pone a o an o son o any. Ustedes saben muy bien, por favor, no me hagan quedar mal. A ver, ¿cómo sería? You have to tell the picture. Sería en este caso,
Some.
pero,
Some orange.
pero está hablando de oranges, Kiria. There is a song.
There are.
there are.
Sin
And
duda,
Any.
there are, exacto, sin duda lo there are. Y acá,
and
no sé, ¿qué pongo? A, cuando solo,
Any.
and
Pero dice orange.
there are
pero,
orange in the
a ver,
fridge.
mi querido alumno, ¿por qué tendría que poner a? A o an habla cuando hablo de uno y son y any cuando hablo de varios o de incontables, ¿se acuerdan? Entonces,
Any.
¿cómo sería eso? Sería, dime,
Any.
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 pero ¿por qué voy a
Any.
poner any si any es para negar o para preguntar? ¿No les he dicho, chicos? Entonces, aquí estoy
Bueno,
negando,
some.
está negando, pero ya le digo al última. Ya no les quedaba otra y esa no es la idea. Yo no quiero que adivinen. Yo quiero que aciertan a la primera. Siguiente, ¿cómo sería? Vamos a ver así. Sería en este caso, there,
There is a yogurt in my house.
otra vez,
There is a yogurt in my house.
pongo A, así,
Sí.
ya. No, jamás haría eso. ¿Por qué? Porque yo se los dije y quiero que recuerden muy, muy bien lo que les voy a decir. Por favor, presten mucha atención. Yogurt es an uncountable. El yogur es un líquido, se puede contar. Pero el a o el an sí se puede contar. Cuando yo digo a, un. Cuando digo an, es uno. Yo digo, por ejemplo, una mesa, a table. Una manzana, an apple. O sea que utilizo el a o el an cuando son contables. Y cuando son incontables son para positivos y n para negar o para preguntar. Ya
There is
sé, lo
some
he dicho.
yogurt.
Eso es todo. Pero después de que ya entregaste el examen, así no vale. There is some yogurt in my house. Sí, there is a yogurt in my house. Vamos, ¿cómo sería el siguiente? There, banana on the table. Creo que hice una versión parecida al inicio de la clase. You have to tell me that correct alternative. What do you think here? Tell me.
There are.
There are what here? Come on,
There
man.
is there is a banana on the table.
You have to say here because banana is a singular, right? Yes, and there is banana on the table. There is I'm sorry.
There is a.
There is a.
Yes, because talk about one, right? There sugar in the cardboard. Azúcar en el repostero. Come on, you have to tell me this.
There is some sugar in the. There is some sugar.
Yeah, but there is sugar on what? Yes, you have sugar on what? Tell me.
Some.
There is some, very good, because it's an uncountable and it's in positive, right? There is some sugar in the cardboard. Next, there isn't or there aren't orange juice in the bottle. Orange juice.
There is. There is.
You have to say orange juice. You have to say orange juice. Jugo de naranja. Es que no se puede contar. Que no se puede contar. Sería entonces some, right? Y pero ¿qué va acá? There is or there aren't. ¿Ya les he explicado?
There isn't.
There isn't. Cuando sea incontable, there isn't, right? Okay, you have to tell me interrogative for. What is interrogative for? You have to tell me the answer. Cheese. Queso.
Is there any cheese?
Repeat one
Is
more
there
time.
Is there any cheese?
any cheese?
Yes, excellent. If there are cheese, this is the correct alternative for you. Pasamos al siguiente ejercicio. Un momentito. Vamos a ver. Vamos, escriban o participan. Number 7. Yo pensé que iba a acabar, pero vamos. There is in my box. Freeze.
There are fleas in my box.
Muy bien, you have to say, there is ¿qué?
There are
Okay. There are ¿qué?
fleas in
There
my
are
box.
some.
Oh, eso.
No, yes, of course. You have to say here, there are some, right? En este caso sería there are some. Porque es, yes, the next 8. ¿Qué sería ahí? Aquí. ¿Qué sería ahí? ¿Qué te dice? There isn't o there aren't. Pero ojo, aquí dice sandwich in my bag. No dice sandwiches.
There aren't.
No, ma'am. Es sandwich. No dice sandwiches. It's a singular.
There isn't some sandwich.
Come on, student.
Any.
Vamos, chicos. Estoy negando. There isn't. In next we use, but I told you.
Any.
Any, right? You have to say here any. Okay. Any the correct answer. The number 9. Are there or is there apple in your bag? Come on, volunteer. Who tell me the correct alternative here?
Is there an apple in the...
Repeat one more time. Repeat one more time.
Is there an apple in your bag?
¿A-N? ¿Así?
A-N.
Very good. That is the... No, any no, my brother. Any es cuando hablamos... Any es para incontable o plurales. Pero aquí estamos hablando de una manzana nomás. No se olviden. Utilizamos el any cuando voy a preguntar o cuando voy a negar en plural o en incontable. Repeat. We use any for countable in plural, for question or for negative, or for an uncountable for question or for negative. Never use any en singular. Nunca usaban en singular. Y acá está en singular. Number 10. Come on, you have to tell me the number 10 to finish the class. Volunteer, you have to tell me number 10. There, orange on the table. Volunteer here. There is. And what is the word here? There is, like this. Así.
Así.
¿Qué dicen los demás? ¿Así lo dejo?
Mm,
Hay una manzana en la mesa. There,
Ya,
there
así
is a
sería.
orange on the table. There is.
Some.
No,
No.
porque va a ir son, si son es por plural,
Exacto.
right?
Mm,
En realidad
Ah,
no es an y son, es an. ¿Por qué?
oh,
Hay
sí, porque
no
o es
puede.
la vocal.
empieza con vocal. Cuando empieza con vocal, va a N. Cuando
Ah,
empieza aquí mira, pues empieza con vocal. Ya pues chicos, acá no. Si empieza en consonante, como banana, va la A solita. Cuando empieza consonante, vocal. Cuando empieza con vocal, consonante. Una cosa así. Right? And you have to tell me number left here. Onions in the
Are.
cat. You have to are there is a question. So you have to use here.
Any,
Any.
Yes,
Any.
very good, my friend. Are there any onions in the cupboard? Are there any onions in the cupboard? 12. Is there or are there coffee? What
is
do you
there
Is
say?
there?
some coffee?
Yeah, very good, my friend. Vamos, chicos, espero su respuesta.
Es que se tapa. Oh, there isn't any bottle on the table.
¿Qué pongo? There isn't any. I have to say any here. Okay.
Any porque
Okay.
se está
Yes,
negando.
yes, very good. There pears in the fridge, peras in the fridge. You
There
have to
are,
say
there are,
there are. It's in positive, right? This is in positive. You have to say here there are.
there are
Ah.
some
No, I is for singular. Some is for plural. But I told you. Pero eso es hecho. Some is for positive in plural. Positive in plural, plural. Any
pears.
for negative and question in plural. There, water. Water in my glass.
There is some water. There is some water.
There is some water because it's an affirmative sense, right? Very good. And to finish, the last one. There potatoes. What do you say here in potatoes? There is or there
There
There.
aren't, but in
are
negative. But before that,
any potato?
any potatoes. This is very, very important to you. Okay, my student, thank you for your time. Han hecho un increíble trabajo el día de hoy. Yo realmente los felicito por haber actuado de esta manera. Si ustedes practican el día de hoy, esta clase la dejamos, paramos la grabación.